Willkommen zur nächsten Live-Session von Seibert Media. This is an English talk today. I'm together with Debbie Kohlhardt and Eric Chiang. Is that correctly pronounced? Do you want to correct me? And if Debbie, just move like a bit more left, and then we can see you. Perfect. Welcome. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Why don't you just introduce yourself real short and tell us a bit about Gliffy that we want to talk about today.
Excellent. My name is Debbie Kohlhardt, and I work with sales at Gliffy, and I'll let Eric introduce Gliffy and himself.
Okay. My name is Eric Chiang. I'm the product lead for the Elasticman plugins, and so that means I work both on features and kind of introducing the product and demoing it here for you guys, as well as dictating the roadmap for whatever new releases may be coming out through the year.
Okay.
So,
yeah, thank you very much. Let me just lay out what we'll do today for the viewers shortly. We do have a small agenda where we want to show Gliffy in general. Then we want to talk about Gliffy as a plugin in Confluence and how that interacts. And then we will talk about the Gliffy plugin for JIRA, which are both Atlassian tools, and so Eric's domain. Actually, we have a screen sharing device which will allow us to see Eric's screen, and I'll move around his picture if that doesn't fit here on his screen here. So actually this is basically what I have to say, and now Eric, just start with whatever you want to start.
okay, great. So I'm going to give a brief overview of what Gliffy is. For those that don't know, Gliffy is a diagramming tool that's embedded in both Confluence and JIRA, something akin to Microsoft Visio or OmniGraffle. These are very popular desktop applications that you may have used in the past. So again, as I mentioned, we are a plugin that goes directly into these Atlassian products. So what's fantastic about it is that you no longer have to create your diagrams outside using a different tool, upload them into your wiki, and then if you need changes, you're going to have to, again, make changes outside in a separate tool and then upload again. So I'll be demoing that as well as several major features within the products. Some of the things that we found the most powerful, things like linking from content within the pages, as well as our use of several templates so you can start off with new diagrams, and our support for versioning and be able to export these diagrams if you actually want to use them outside of your wiki. So let's just get started.
Cool. And actually, just to introduce all of those who didn't see already, this is Confluence, right? Where you are in here.
Confluence.
And just a quick note for those who didn't experience a Seibert Media live session yet. When you see this screen, you'll see on the left side, you'll see this live support button. If you click on that, you can chat to me. Eric will not know that, but I'll write down your question and ask him in the end. So if you have any question, feel free to ask, and I'll bombard him at the end. So sorry for interruption, Eric.
No problem. So I have an actual wiki page up right now. Our title is How to Book a Conference Room. So we're going to use this as an example. So how do you actually add a diagram in Confluence? There's actually two ways. There's two ways that you can go about it. Right now, just briefly to back up, I'm actually in Confluence 4. In Confluence 4, there are actually two ways in order to add a Gliffy diagram. So we're going to try the first way. One is here in the Add menu. And you'll see that Gliffy is found in the dropdown. So clicking on that will launch the Gliffy editor. Give it a few seconds to load up. And then you're presented with this dialog that you can start with a blank diagram or allow you to choose from a variety of different templates. For our purposes, we're just going to start with a blank diagram right now. Later on, I'll show you all the different templates that you can possibly use. So we're just going to talk about how to create a flow chart. It's as easy as moving over to our symbol libraries here on the left, dragging a shape over, and dropping it onto the stage. So we're going to say, using our conference tool, so which is calendar.gliffy.com. We're going to add a new symbol. And then add a decision point. So it's that easy to create.
It is. And actually, what I see is we've been using Gliffy for years. You've been having a not so, or this has been developed a lot in the last years, isn't it? Didn't it?
So one thing I failed to mention is actually I'm using a pre-release version of Gliffy. So you're actually seeing features that haven't actually been released yet.
But still, I have been using like the current version, and maybe we should leave it until the end. But I have been very impressed that you do focus on usability for your users rather than just like trying to sell all the same stuff all the time. And I've been very proud to when customers came to me and said, "Oh, this has gotten much better, and it was a free update for us." And but let's talk about this later again.
Yeah, I mean, from our policy, we've been trying to release major features quarterly. We don't always hit that target, but that's our primary goal. We do release bug fixes as often as every 2 weeks, if possible. So for us, being able to bring new features to the customer and ensure that the product is highly stable is really important to us.
Okay, just go on. Sorry.
Okay. So I've created this simple flow diagram right now with our premise of trying to book a conference room. Just to show you, one of the major features that we have is linking. So I've selected some text here in our process flow, and I'm going to create a link to it. What this is going to do is pop up our link browser, which allows you to link content within Confluence. So since I've already created some content earlier, I'm going to link to another page that describes another process and what to do when there's a conflict in booking our conference room. So let's just save and close this right now. So after you've created your diagram, you'll need to give it a name. And what it does is it pops this diagram directly into the wiki page. And now it's a picture that lives on the wiki page, but it's completely interactive because of the link that we just created. We can hover over and you can see that it will link to another page, which in itself is another diagram with a different process flow. So you can see for business analysts or business users that might use process flows, this is very powerful in that you can link different processes together from different departments, or just being able to order it in different spaces.
Yeah, and it's a completely independent of files and versions and all this stuff, right?
Right.
Which, by the way, as a wiki document, it has versions, so you can.
It does have versions, and we'll get into that for a second. So as you can see, there's a little bit of what we call Chrome around this picture to give you an idea that this is not just a picture, but something that's interactive. If you have access, in which I do, you can actually go right in here and click the edit button to edit the diagram right away. So anyone with access to this page and with the correct permissions can edit your diagram. You don't need to actually use a separate tool. Again, it's all built into the wiki. So let's say we just wanted to add another node to this. We'll just pick an end node here. And we'll just save and close again. You can see that these changes are directly reflected right on the page. There you go. So the next thing I kind of wanted to show off was about templates. And this is really going to feature something that we've done for Confluence 4 that no other plugin vendor has really done yet. And so I'm just going to start with adding a new page. And this is the second way that you can add a Gliffy diagram. So new page.
Eric, let me answer a question that came up. Yes, you can ask German questions, and I'll ask them in English. Sie können auch deutsche Fragen stellen. Das ist kein Problem. Okay, sorry.
So as you noticed, we used the add menu before, but that was on the view page of a wiki page. That doesn't seem quite as natural, but with Confluence 4, there's something very powerful that we can use. Is in the rich text editor itself, which is much more natural and then more streamlined. So as you can see, we just started to create a page, and now there's this insert menu. And here again, you find that you can add a Gliffy diagram. But we're going to do it even quicker by using macro syntax. Just by using this bracket, it brings up macro suggestions. You can see it already starts by suggesting you can add a Gliffy diagram. So we'll do that by typing a few words, Gliffy. Up pops this familiar template dialog. And as you can see, we have templates for Venn diagrams or charts. If you do SWOT analysis, we have a template for that. Some basic flow charts. A lot of systems people use us for creating network diagrams. Software developers use us to create their software designs, class diagrams, UML, and ERDs. We even have some floor plan templates just for fun, and definitely for the business analysts, we have business process flows, swim lanes, etc. I'm just going to start with one of our more fun templates, which is our Venn diagram.
May I ask or answer a short question also that came up?
Sure.
Yes, this is Confluence he's showing. You may be on a older version of Confluence, and within Confluence 4, a new editor was introduced, and this new editor is shown by Eric here also. You might want to introduce yourself to Confluence 4. We may be talking about Confluence 3 and 4 because I got a question about Confluence 3 and 4 also. But yes, this is Confluence is the answer.
It may look very different. Confluence 4 is a big shift from even Confluence 3.5. And because of that, we worked very tightly with Atlassian. And ahead of time, we during Atlas Camp and several other big meetups, they have been previewing these features in Confluence 4, and we worked with them to actually be able to embed Gliffy in a very tight manner. So as you can see, we launched the Gliffy editor via the rich text editor. And so I'm just going to make a few quick changes to our diagram. And then again, we're going to go save and close. Give it a few seconds. Again, I have to apologize. We're actually working in a pre-release product.
No problem. Which gives me the possibility to ask a question. What browser do I need to work with Gliffy?
So Gliffy works in Google Chrome, Firefox, and IE.
Which versions of Internet Explorer?
We do support whatever versions, the version of Confluence that you're in. So I believe IE7 is the last version of or Internet Explorer that's supported by Atlassian.
Mm-hmm.
As of Confluence 3.2, IE7 is the last one.
Yeah. Okay, so you try to match what Atlassian supports.
That's correct.
So basically, if I can use Confluence decently with my current browser, I am likely to be able to use Gliffy also, right?
That's correct. So let me attempt to recreate this again. And if not, we can move on. Oh, well, that's good. We may have to do this in our wiki. I apologize for this.
No problem. Do you want to just change and give me Debbie for short? Because I have a list of questions that I can ask. What
Sure.
Yeah, so just move the camera and
pull back, and it may feel a little bit weird. So from
Nope.
the user perspective,
no problem.
we don't intend to make anyone dizzy out there.
Debbie, so let's start with the last question I got. The German question is, sind die Business-Prozess-Templates UML-konform? And so there's a user who wants to know if your UML templates are kind of business process, or the process, are they UML strict? They are using visual paradigm to create diagrams, and I assume that this product is UML conform. Do you know what it means, UML conform? I don't actually, so.
Yeah, we are from what my knowledge base on that is with the UMLs, we are compliant with version 1. There's also business process modeling, BPMN, so that'd be business process modeling notation. And our symbols at this point are still on version 1, so we have some updating that we need to do. And those are things we have slated for this year to improve those symbols and bring things more up to line. We do base all of our developments on user requests, so we have not had an overwhelming interest from customers to get those up to date. They're using what we have quite effectively. So if you have an interest in that, we would love to hear from you, and we can certainly send Martin those links to vote on those features so that we can get some feedback and even some suggestions from that particular user.
Yeah, and actually, I can also answer to this question because we're using Gliffy a lot to do UML diagrams. Actually, I don't know whether they are conform or not. Basically, I know that a couple of our programmers dream of a situation where you create a UML diagram and then the programming code comes out magically afterwards. But this is far away in our reality of programming today. So a UML diagram for Seibert Media is a communication tool. So a Gliffy diagram is perfectly well for our needs at the moment. And I'll ask the user if that helps. Does that help? And maybe we'll just move to the next question, which is, can I migrate from all versions of Gliffy to the next? Like, do you offer me, if I have a very old version of Gliffy, can I just upgrade and everything will work fine? Or will all my diagrams die? Or what's going to happen?
As long as you have that current version, you will have no change in your functionality with your diagrams. For example, if you started with Gliffy back at our earliest versions, our symbols and our interface looked a bit different. So those, when you edit that diagram in our new version, those symbols will still load, but you'll want to use our new symbol library, so you won't have access to those legacy symbols, but you'll have the new and improved and better looking ones.
Oh, okay. So I can take them all over and make them pretty afterwards.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. So, Eric, just tell me where...
Eric is back up. So
yeah, okay. So we'll stop the Q&A and shift this to later.
All right.
Okay, so
Thanks for the great questions too from all the participants.
Yeah.
I'm going to
+1.
wheel out and Eric's going to wheel in. So again, not intending to make anyone dizzy.
Okay.
All right, I'm back.
Pop it.
Thanks for your patience on that.
No problem. Okay.
We'll be doing the rest of this in Chrome.
Firefox sucks.
So we're actually going to go to our Confluence demo site, which is externally available if anybody actually wants to play around in it. So I'm just going to log in.
And this also has these preview features that you were talking of?
We actually have a different instance for that I'm going to discuss a little bit later.
Oh, okay.
So back to we're going to start again by adding a new page. So this is the premise for our page. And again, we'll be using a template to start with. And then we'll just make, again, brief changes, save and close. And so again, this is again the Confluence, for instance. What I'm going to be showing you is how Gliffy appears directly in the rich text editor. So you can see it just pops directly in a preview mode, and you can, from what they call the property panel, can adjust certain features of the diagram. So you can make the image smaller, back to the original size. You can add a border around it, or you can even align it. Before, most of these features required you to play around with wiki syntax, but now it's a very much WYSIWYG view.
And let me give you some credits about this. Actually, Gliffy was the first and the deepest, or is the deepest involved plugin in the new Confluence editor, which shows that when Seibert Media sells a plugin on top of Confluence, it's in a lot of cases a Gliffy plugin, because they are working so heavily with Confluence that this is so seamlessly integrated into this software. Yeah, and I think this is a very good example where you can see that. Sorry, just move on.
No, great, thanks, Martin. So we'll just save this page off. Again, just like we experienced before, it just pops right into the editor. So again, there's two ways now you can go and edit the diagram. Before I mentioned that you can click the edit button here, which is directly on the view. But you can actually do it again when you're in the editor itself, in the rich text editor, through the property pane, here on this edit button. Again, Gliffy pops right back in again. Make a minor change, save and close. There it is. Change was reflected directly automatically. So let's say we didn't like that change. We're going to talk a little bit about versions now. So every change or every save that you make results in a version that can be found here in the revision history in the upper right corner. As you can see, we've created one version, and we can backtrack to the last version. You can see the change was merely a minor text change here where the S pops in. So if we want to revert to that, all we have to do is, again, save and close. And then save our page off once again, and the changes are reflected, again, in the wiki view.
Yeah, cool. And it's
Go ahead.
in my opinion, Gliffy is one of those plugins that help companies to kind of integrate the business user. And as Atlassian is mainly targeting the tech people, like programmers, a lot of our users and our clients want not only to integrate like sysadmins and developers, but also business people. And this is a perfect tool to match documentation with visual things that those business people, in a lot of cases, can do much better than programmers. And cool use case.
Thanks. So there's one last thing I wanted to show off, which is about exporting. So I'm actually in a page that we've already created, which kind of highlights our own development process. And let's say you wanted to embed this or make use of this image or diagram outside of your Confluence instance. Well, it's as simple as going to the File menu here and then choosing a variety of different export options. So we can actually export to SVG if you happen to want to use that format, but typically people more are interested in either JPEG or PNG. So just by simply clicking on this option, it'll save the image down.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is. You can just grab this image and then embed it in any other documentation that you choose outside of your wiki instance.
And can you just go back to the file export again?
Sure.
Because we had the question with some of our clients already. If you export as Gliffy XML, you can use the file in another Confluence instance with Gliffy again, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So you can even transfer it between Confluence to JIRA, JIRA to Confluence, and even we do have a hosted offering, our software as a service, Gliffy Online, and you can import that same Gliffy XML there as well.
Okay.
Great. So that's most of the features that I wanted to show off, some of the major features that I wanted to show off in Confluence. So if we can jump into JIRA now, just to see how this integration works. So I already have a test project set up with 2 test issues in it. They are to add a contact us page on our website and then to update the headline of our website. So we're just go into it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Gliffy in JIRA can be found here in the More Actions menu. So as you can see, this is just a standard view of an issue. We're calling it a bug, a major bug. But to help the developer illustrate what changes I want made, we're going to add a Gliffy diagram here. So up again pops this familiar template dialog. We're going to start this time with a common template of a wireframe. So I'm just going to choose this Contact Us page as a starting point. And I'm just going to make some minor changes to make it more relevant for us. And then, again, we can do a save and close. So now this diagram is embedded as an attachment to our JIRA issue. And for the developer, they can just merely, or whoever's working on this, can merely click on this image to get an idea of what I wanted done for this Contact Us page. Similarly, same features, versioning, etc., are supported in this version of our plugin as well. So we'll go back to the More Actions menu, click on Add Edit Gliffy Diagram, which pops up our Document Manager dialog. What the purpose of this is because you can have more than one Gliffy diagram attached to a JIRA issue. So we'll open up this existing one. And I realize that maybe this is just a little too much, so I'll just remove that. And then save. As you can see here in revision history, now we have 2 versions. And we can go back to the first one if we'd like. Or go back to the most recent change. So if we're happy with that, we can just go ahead and close. Now our change is reflected on this new JIRA issue. So one last thing I wanted to demo out for the JIRA use case is updating a headline on our website. So let's say that we've already taken a screenshot of our website and we just wanted to mark this up. So we can include images in our Gliffy diagrams. So again, we'll start by adding a new Gliffy diagram to this particular issue. And this time we'll start with a blank template. And here we have in our symbol library an images tab where we can drag over the image that's included in the JIRA issue. And then we can sort of annotate it using some of the actions here in our toolbar. So we have a text tool here. And we have a line tool. We can change the arrow end on this so we know what we're talking about here. So that's how you would annotate an image. And we'll save and close. So if you don't have the tools available to you to do marking up of any images, you could do it now directly in JIRA with Gliffy.
Okay. As this is a custom picture that you use, there's a current question that I got that may fit in here right well. One of our clients asks, or viewers asks, can I use custom icons in Gliffy? Actually, I'll have to, or I need his help on this because I understand it this way. When you go back in Gliffy, maybe, could you? And
sure.
Then you have like a floor plan, a network plan, a flow chart, a whatever. And could I have my own panel with my own custom icons so that I don't have to upload them again and again in a Gliffy diagram?
Yeah, that's something that we've heard quite a bit. There are a few. That's definitely something that we're thinking about and wanting to do custom symbols, perhaps. But as an easy answer to that, you can use. You can either have a set of Gliffy XMLs that you share, and you can import them in as a file, as a template here, as an example. In Confluence, the integration is a little bit cleaner for that. Let me show you that. You can start from an existing diagram. So you can, let's say you store all of your common templates.
Ah, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
In a special space. Let's say it's the common Gliffy diagram space. If you put everything there, we can just choose to start from a common set of diagrams.
Okay, and then I would have all the icons, this one and the ribbon and blah, and I could use them, which is kind of a workaround that you're describing, right?
It's a bit of a workaround. I think what the customer is really looking for is a specific set of custom symbols. So that is a feature request that we have, and we've gotten quite a few votes on it. We'd love to focus on it. So if we see even more votes, we're currently thinking about how to implement that. I think one of the biggest challenges is providing an ability for customers to produce these symbols to begin with. But I believe with these two components, that probably solves 90% of the use cases that customers would want.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, sorry. Let's go on.
Actually, that was it for what I was going to demo for the JIRA.
What I would love to see is, why don't you just show us some more examples? You have so many templates there. Could we just browse through them and you explain real quick what they do so that people can understand the use cases behind?
Sure. Let's do it in Confluence. So we have a series of about 10 different templates right now, 10 template styles. For our website software UI design, this is focused on wireframes. So people that are building websites would want to use a wireframe to describe a certain page. And then we also have sitemap symbols that give further detail on the flow of a particular website.
If I am not a Gliffy user, how can I see all these templates? Do you have screenshots on your website, or can I demo the?
We do have examples. If you go to gliffy.com, all of our templates are available here.
Ah, okay.
Browse through it. So gliffy.com/examples will show all the different templates.
Let's keep that. So we have flowcharts, which would be for the business user, right? Then network diagrams, which would be rather for the system administrator who wants to document his IT infrastructure. Flow plans would be rather in, house planning, or maybe if you move into a new office, you may use this one, right? Org charts just speak for themselves, maybe HR. Who will use Venn diagrams? Maybe marketing?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, SWOT analysts will definitely be in marketing. Maybe sales, don't know, strategy. Wireframes is also programming websites. Sitemaps could also be websites, intranets, or wikis. And what comes down there? Let me make it full screen. UML, okay, so we had a question about this, business processes, technical drawings. Which could be just a plan of a, what is it, OTAC? It's just a machine or something, right?
Actually, that was, I think it was an undergrad project of one of our founders, Clint Dixon. He was a mechanical engineer in his prior life, so he produced this diagram using Gliffy.
Oh, okay. And what we also see is quite a few well-known companies already joined in to enjoy Gliffy, right?
We do have this is not the full list of customers, I believe.
Nope, there is a customer list on the
We
site.
do have a about customers list if people are interested in all the various customers.
But you don't have them sorted by a country, right?
No, we do not.
Yeah, okay.
We do have the map that does demonstrate where in the world Gliffy is used, which is kind of interesting.
So Africa is still to be conquered.
Yeah.
But maybe it should be conquered by computers first, and then Gliffy will come after. Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay, but this is another problem that we can't solve here. Let's see if you can solve some of the problems or the questions that people had for you. And maybe you can both try to come in the video again and answer one each.
I feel like we should have a buzzer.
I should have a buzzer, you mean? So the one of you who knows first, you can use the buzzer?
Yes.
And then when we can meet your viewers when we come out for Europe Summit and get our award.
Okay. I'll try to send you for the next live session. I'll send you a buzzer. We have one that says, if you click it, it says, that was easy.
We need that button.
Yeah, and you can answer. You can have it when the questions are easy. So, okay, what was the list of all diagrams, which we already answered in my opinion. On the website, you can click on the icon on examples, and then you'll find them all. Where do I have to vote? So, Eric was saying that we collected quite a couple of votes for this and that, and people were asking, so where can I vote? Can you show that real quick, Eric?
Yeah, we have, if you go to support.gliffy.com,
Ah.
it should take you to our forums where we actually have a section called feature requests.
I can use this for self-marketing. This is a Zendesk instance. Seibert Media is the official German Zendesk vendor. So if you are interested in Zendesk, contact us. And now I understand how you vote also, but maybe you explain so the viewers understand also.
Yeah, perfect. So clearly there's a lot of feature requests already put into this forum. As you can see, our #1 user request is Visio import. There have been 42 votes for that, and even more if you consider the votes that have happened in our JIRA instance as well.
Something that a user had already asked a question about was the custom shapes created by users.
Yeah, okay.
Or a similar topic that we kind of branched off from. So they would simply click on the topic and demonstrating the great features of Zendesk here. They can select Me Too. They will have their vote registered so we can see that the count has now upgraded, so there's more votes. That sends a message to our team saying that more people are voting. And also once we have comments, like if we need feedback, if we want some beta users, we will then use this list to contact users from so they can provide us information about how we should develop that feature.
Perfect. So if you as a user now add another vote, you'll have 2 from this session. As Debbie gave hers. Okay, next question. Custom items. We had this. One question that I wrote down. It's my question, and I don't know whether it's uneasy for you to answer that. But if I'm using Confluence and JIRA, I would only buy a Confluence Gliffy license. I wouldn't buy a Confluence and a JIRA license because I would think that in my company the documentation would sit in Confluence, and the visual part of the documentation would be Gliffy. So I would have a Gliffy for Confluence, and I wouldn't care at all about Gliffy for JIRA, right? Or do you think there's still a value to buy both?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the bulk of our current users are using Gliffy within Confluence. So I think that speaks to what you spoke to earlier, Martin, which is that Gliffy allows the diversity of your Confluence user base to be more descriptive and feel like the wiki is more accessible. So you've got your technical users, you've got your business users. It really makes that wiki feel a little bit more comfortable for everyone, and you get more use out of it. We have seen a significant upswing in our JIRA users and also in that bundled purchase. So the Confluence as well as that JIRA purchase.
Oh, okay.
It really depends how you're using it. I think the use cases that Eric described today really demonstrate why you would want that Gliffy diagram inside that JIRA ticket. The alternative is that you would have a link there back to your Confluence page where you're describing what you want the web page to look like. It's asking your developers to go to another place. It's asking folks to maintain 2 different pages. If you have all the documentation in one place or all the mock-out in one place, you're going to improve your communication. So it depends how you're using your tools.
So what does Gliffy cost?
Gliffy prices are based on your user counts within Atlassian products. So if you have a 2,000 user license of Confluence, you would want to purchase the 2,000 user license of Gliffy. We can pull up our pricing page here. The retail cost from Gliffy is 50% of your Confluence purchase or your JIRA purchase. If you work with a reseller, they can often make sure that you have the appropriate training and support in place to access these tools so you can get some added benefit there.
Thanks for the sales pitch.
Honestly, we see a lot of our customers coming to us throughout Germany through Seibert Media, and we feel that we have a much better, people are using it more because of the training that you provide, which is not something that customers in the US quite take advantage of. So,
okay.
Yeah, I suggest that.
Thank you very much. Why don't we just pull up a pricing page, which I can also, I prepared that already, I do think so. Let's see. If you, like all the time, I'm pulling up this link here, Seibert/Gliffy. If you're typing that in here, you'll find a page that'll show, oh, sorry, mistyped that, Seibert/Gliffy. Like this. You'll come to a page in our public wiki, which will have the price list of Gliffy. And it will also have a link to the dependency. So what Derry was talking of, that you have to match your JIRA or Confluence license and all the other things, that will give you a reduction in services for training, for getting to know Gliffy a bit better. Maybe just refer to this page to find out, or go to the Gliffy website, which has the same thing. Okay, so let's go back to the questions that have piled up here. You don't have any meetings today anymore, don't you? Because they actually they keep coming in, so it's we'll get faster. So the smart pop-up or pop-in, how was it? Smarte hinzufügen. So I would translate this smart pop-in or smart insert is not available in the current version, was Stefan Richter's comment.
Yeah, there's two things I wanted to reveal today, just special for your users. One was exactly what you saw in the process flow, in the flow chart Civil library. That's a new feature that's coming out that we're playing around with for the next release of Gliffy for both Confluence and JIRA. If people are interested in playing around with that, it's actually available at confluence-beta.gliffy.com.
Okay, so let's not get this past. So confluence-beta.gliffy.com. Correct?
That's correct.
No, it says Red Hat Enterprise Linux test page.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Confluence-beta.gliffy.com.
I believe you have to add an extra /confluence at the end of that.
/confluence. Oh, no, I misspelled that. Yeah, that looks better.
Okay.
And then I need a user from you, right?
Yes. So the user is Confluence Beta.
One word.
Beta user.
Beta user.
And the password is Gliffy.
Gliffy. No, it doesn't work. But let's not focus on that. I'll post it on the site later. Maybe you can just shoot me an email, and I'll put it on our live session site. So everybody of you who's watching and you want to access the new beta of Gliffy and give them some feedback, just watch the documentation page of this live session, and we'll post it there. Okay.
I'll provide you details, Martin, on how customers can provide us feedback about the feature. And the second thing I wanted to reveal for you guys today is that we actually have a beta for our Visio import. And so this is a private beta. So if customers are interested in testing it out, they can email me directly at eric@gliffy.com, and I will forward it on to the developer that's actually working on this feature, and they'll get in contact with you guys if you're interested in testing that out as well.
Cool. So if I'm working heavily on Visio with Microsoft Office today, and I want to join in a more collaborative world, and I can contact you to find out how far Gliffy is today, correct? And give you some feedback so that you get your importer even better and get a good impression how I could move all my Visio files that are stuck in folders today into a living wiki.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I love it. Okay. I was asking for browser needs already. You said like everything that Confluence or JIRA support, Gliffy will also match, right? That was easy. That was an easy answer. So.
Martin, just to go back to that earlier question from the user, the components that allowed us to create that pop-in or that cool, like, within the text editor experience within Confluence is available through Confluence 4. So it's a definite reason to not only upgrade to get that nifty experience with Gliffy, but you'll also experience a much richer and better Confluence as well. So. Yeah,
okay. So one comment was, that is so much easier. And actually, I couldn't. You were just presenting, so I couldn't say that time. But I assume that the guy meant it's so much easier than earlier versions, and I do feel that you have had a tremendous improvement in usability for users. Also, if I use it myself, like everything snatches to where it should snatch, and all these, I don't know how you call these red points where I can put the action points where I can put the arrows on. It's very easy to create a flow chart to document a process that you have created in a meeting or something. Okay, another question. Migration from Confluence 3 to 4. What does it mean for Gliffy?
It should feel seamless.
Yeah.
You should, you upgrade your Confluence version, and then you'll upgrade your Gliffy version, and it should feel seamless.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, here's, by the way, I'm just reading. Marcel Keil says, Gliffy plugin test period has expired on the beta wiki. I assume that they'll be able to get a new license. Which is also a good reason to come back to our live session wiki page and get the credentials there again. But Marcel Keil has already gotten in already, so probably my fault that I didn't get in. Okay, so next question was back to the migration from Confluence 3 to 4. The Confluence 4 has a different Gliffy interaction. So if I'm having an old version of Gliffy and upgrade to Confluence 4, don't I need also a new Gliffy?
Yes, I understand the question. You do need to upgrade to Gliffy 4 in order to get the integrated features.
Yeah, okay.
With Confluence 4 rich text editor.
Okay, so
Gliffy, earlier versions of Gliffy, some are compatible. So the prior version, the 3.x version of Gliffy will work, but you won't get the integrated features with the rich text editor.
Yeah, okay. So what do we
find that compatibility list at the universal or at the plugin exchange market that Atlassian offers? There's a compatibility section.
Yeah, okay.
Plugins.atlassian.com.
Yeah, okay. And what I learned is if I don't have a valid license for Gliffy, but I have a valid license for Confluence, your suggestion is get a new renewal for Gliffy also, right?
Absolutely. We'll be happy to help you with that.
Yeah.
Or Mark will be.
Yeah. We all will be happy to help you with that, yeah. I don't know whether this was the basis of the question, but could be. Migration from old versions, we were talking about this also. And then there's another question that I've been asked before from one of our programmers, which I definitely wanted to integrate here. Do you plan to offer live diagramming? Because I'm shy to say or to admit, but some of our programmers do use a live diagramming tool, and they kind of went away from the wiki, and I said, no, don't go, stay here. But they, so is that planned in any time? So I could use to change a Gliffy diagram with two people at the same time. This is what I mean with live diagramming.
We call that real-time collaboration.
Yeah.
We do have it listed as a feature request. Surprisingly, it's not that high up there. I remember it used to be. I don't actually even see it in the top 10 right now.
So I should go there right now and give it a vote. And everybody who's viewing this,
Confluence doesn't offer the same real-time experience.
Yeah, it sucks. Is my opinion. I'm dreaming of the Etherpad integration to come true for Confluence 4 also. So there was an Etherpad integration for Confluence 3, which offered like real-time editing. And maybe, it is a good thing for you just to wait for Confluence to do that until you do. So let me see if I can find the live diagramming. No, I don't find it. But I'll search it later, and I'll add my vote on it.
It looks like, well, we brought it up. It looks like there's only 2 votes on it right now. So
okay.
There may be other feature requests worded differently, so I can look a little later and see if there are actually more. But right now, it hasn't been a very popular request.
Yeah.
And again, like we mentioned, Confluence and JIRA neither support this functionality natively. So. Okay.
So I just and actually I took part in some of those sessions when they did it, and it was quite productive because it was just like if you were in a room in a meeting and you were drawing together, which is difficult because your arms can screw up because you can't really draw together on a paper, right? But you can do that on a screen where everybody has his own mouse, but it may be something that shouldn't be part of this live session because it's very detailed. Let's sum up. So when do I buy Gliffy?
What we find from users is they purchase Confluence and they immediately start trying Gliffy as they want to make their Confluence or their JIRA product more rich. And after that trial period, they find that more users are accessing the wiki, more users are finding that the wiki experience allows them to stay using Gliffy, and using the wiki allows them to stay right in those environments. So it's very collaborative. They can let go of some of those traditional desktop tools, and that's when your trial expires and it's time to purchase.
Okay. My answer would be you're buying Gliffy if you want to have more visual elements that add up to your content in Confluence or in JIRA. I don't think that Gliffy is a good tool. I know, Eric, that you may not want to hear that, but if you have a screenshot and you want to have a arrow and a annotation, then there are like products like Jing or Atlassian loves Sketch or whatever, where you can get this screenshot into JIRA very quickly. But there is no other tool available, in my opinion, that offers you, with the same ease of a wiki, the possibility to edit diagrams and everything that is graphical. So if the wiki is for text, Gliffy is for drawing, which means like I'm explaining people, look, what are you using Word for? What is it after you've understood what the benefits of a wiki are? Where does Word have use cases anymore? And actually, I happen not to have any Office software on my computer for 1.5 years now. And the only difficulties that I get in is if I get emails from people who still use Office documents. But I don't need Word because I have a wiki. And if you are using Visio today or OmniGraffle or anything else like that, and you keep having this angry shoutings in your office about where's the current version, why do we always lose this work, then you may want to remember how it was with Word files before you had the wiki. And probably it's not a good idea to try to implement Gliffy before a wiki, in my opinion, because a wiki is more straightforward than Gliffy is. But if you have the wiki in your company already, it's very straightforward to use Gliffy. And a couple of customers say, yeah, but Confluence can do much more than diagramming, and it only costs double. But what you also have to take into account is that Gliffy doesn't sell as much licenses as Confluence do, and they still have to develop the product, and it's cheap. It may be that Confluence is super cheap, but compared to what Visio licenses costs, help me. What's the comparison? What's the comparison of like 200 people using Visio to 200 people using Gliffy?
Yeah, so the price, it depends on your particular agreement with Microsoft, but typically a license of Visio costs up about $230. So if you times that by, a 100 user license, you're paying $2,000 there, right? Did I add enough zeros? No, 23,000. And a Gliffy license at the same level for 100 users is $1,000. So you have a significant cost savings. Even if only, let's say, 15 of your Confluence users are accessing Gliffy, you're still having a definite cost savings. I think, Martin, you had an excellent point in the use cases. You're definitely going to find folks accessing the wiki more, being based in that wiki more, and you're going to have more broad diversity about who is collaborating. So your tech user is now able to talk with your HR team, and they're able to communicate between sales and the developers, are able to really have a conversation, because the type of text that our developers use versus the type of text that our sales and marketing team use tends to be a little bit different. We find a much richer collaboration when we put things into a diagram. We're able to communicate a lot more effectively and really get to the point, and even what's missing in our process. So that's what we found, really bridging those gaps between our departments and really emphasizing our strengths in each of our departments to really get that job done.
So what I've also found is that just because Gliffy is in the wiki instance, people have used it in ways that we haven't even really imagined. Just taking a sample from Atlassian themselves, they have Gliffy installed in all of their Confluence instances, and the product managers, marketing folks have been using it to produce timelines. And it's not something that we have a template for, nor do we have a symbol library for, but they use it extensively that way. And so you'll be surprised just by having a diagramming tool in your wiki that people will just use it creatively.
Yeah. And if you hear, okay, now I could save like 19 out of 20 parts of my costs for switching to Gliffy, you say, okay, so I'm a cheap guy and I get the cheap software. But the cool thing in Gliffy is it's not only like 20th cheaper, but it's also much better. You can have like a real collaboration. If you like, in a lot of cases, and I've seen that so often when we roll out intranets, like we take over intranets from static files into wiki, and then all these video files come over. And you see somebody created them. It must have taken like days to draw that and to put all the love that they put into this video file. And upon these days, all the communication to get the information and to agree on that this is the correct process adds up. And after creating the video file and printing it out, it simply dies. And that's the I've heard a manager say, yeah, for the next ISO certification, which the last ISO certification was the reason why we created all these video flowcharts, for the next one, we'll create new ones because the old ones will be old. And so they do it all again and again, which is cool for Microsoft, because everybody will again and again need maybe a new version of Visio or whatever. But for a company, you want to have your processes live, not just like have one snapshot, which is very, very expensive. Let this go gray and then create a new snapshot, and which is and everybody understands that. And so actually, I don't think it's not only cheaper, it's also much better. And I'm thankful that you took the time to show your product off for our customers and interested viewers. Thanks.
Yeah, well, again, thank you for the excellent questions. I think we got some great feedback, just some ideas of what users are interested in. So we'll definitely follow up with you, Martin, and get those links out to you so users can vote as well.
Okay. So thank you. Let me check. No, there's no more questions. Yeah, perfect. There was a, how do you translate Spitze? I don't know, super, or somebody said super to what you answered. So thank you very much again, and thanks for joining in today. That's it for now. If you want to have more information on Gliffy, go to seibert.biz/Gliffy or directly to their website, gliffy.com. Thanks. Bye.